What up, boys? It's Gaz, and welcome to the Warframe video. So we're going over another infested kit gun today, and that one is going to be the tentacle gun. I mean the Vermisplicer, and it's got lots of tentacles. So many tentacles that, it might be too many tentacles, but, I'm not going to judge. So before we get into it, make sure you check out the Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Gaz_TTV. Currently don't have a live stream schedule, but after December 5th, I will be getting back to doing 4 live streams a week at least, because I'll have a consistent work schedule, which would be nice. Alright, so enough of the chit-chat. Let's get into it. So this is the Vermisplicer infested kit gun with a max status roll. And my purpose of making this exact build right here is trying to compete with the Kitgun Nucor, which I'm sure if you are aware of the meta of this game, the Kitgun Nucor is probably the best condition overload procer, possible. Not even probably, it is. You can change the element with the Kuva variant. This one's a heat version. It's got innate radiation, and since it has an innate combined elemental, you can make it do things like viral, heat, radiation, and it has a built-in status effect as well called microwave that will make the enemies expand and all this stuff, and it does also count for condition overload. A lot of people don't realize that. Kitgun Nucor is the best for many reasons. Innate 50% status chance, high fire rate, it chains between enemies. That's why. But this thing actually, I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. It's not as good as the Kitgun Nucor. Straight up. But I do have some hope for the future. As we can see, this is the max status chance version with 7.8 status chance per projectile. But as you see right here, it's got 5 multi-shot. It has 5 tentacles it releases innately. And they have 7.8 status chance per tentacle with the max status chance version. And I want to just tell you right now, the range on this thing feels pretty low. With the Gibber grip, it's supposed to have the highest range possible. It's about 24 meters. I don't know how low the range on the other ones are, but they must be like 12 meters, I'm guessing. With this one being the highest range, and not based on damage at all. So, some nice things you can do with this is you can run, since it's a kit gun, you can run Pax Charge, which will give you, basically it'll turn it into a battery weapon, which means you'll never run out of ammo. You'll never need to actually reload it. You just need to wait for it to recharge, which will be really nice because you don't, you would normally be running an Exilus mod called Eject Magazine for a full condition overload build, where you just put that right over here, and when you are swinging your melee, the gun's reloading. But since we have Pax Charge, we can just run this instead, or we don't have to run that. So if you do want to run an Exilus mod, you could run something like you don't really even need to run Exilus mod. How about that? You can run Suppress to make it silent while you're running around invisible, and maybe something like Reflex Draw or Spry Sights. You really don't need to have an Exilus mod on this, which is part of the nice thing. But then again, you could also potentially run one of these other arcanes. But the problem with this exact build and these other arcanes is these require kit gun kills. And this thing is just focused on the condition overload. With this current build, we will be doing a video on the primary version in the future. So here's just a quick video, because look at this. This is 39 status chance per projectile, I'm guessing here, but I don't know how many projectiles this thing fires off. So keep an eye on the primary version. Try to make a primary version of the Kitgun Nucor in the near future. I don't know exactly how this thing works, so you'll have to see. But hopefully it's got higher range than this thing does. So let's just quickly show it. Innate Toxin on these. It's got Impact, Puncture, and Slash, so you'll be getting up to 5 procs from this. And unlike the Kitgun Nucor, where I do recommend that you run Saxum Spittle, which will make it so the enemies explode in impact and blast damage, giving you 2 more procs, making potential 7 procs in Kitgun Nucor. I wouldn't recommend running Saxum Spittle here because it does have impact damage, and Saxum Spittle gives you increased status chance, but also increased impact damage, making it so you're more likely to proc impact than you would before. So I'd say don't really go for it. You can if you want to. If you'd like to run that over Sure Shot, be my guest. But I did find that I was getting a lot more impact procs than I wanted to with Saxum Spittle on here. So, it's not too big of a deal if you do run it. And then we'll be running the Kuva Shell Dag with a 60% electric roll. Probably have a video on that in the future, just with a condition overload setup, just to, because every status effect on the enemy gives you more damage. All right, let's just quickly show it. Now, there's some things about this that I want to go over. This thing has an 8 punch through, 1 meter of an 8 punch through on it. And the tentacles seem to just latch onto things. I'm trying to understand exactly what's going on here. So we'll shoot one enemy. As you can see, he gets procced up very well. And he's actually going to die from a fully status-based kit gun. So pretty good stuff there. But when we start to try to shoot through multiple enemies, the procs are a little bit inconsistent. As you can see, he took the initial procs, but now the guys behind him are taking the brunt of the damage. So the tentacles will latch onto things and then start attacking them. As you can see, I they just grab onto stuff. I'm not entirely sure the mechanics of it, but I can tell you right now, it is pretty good. If they ever do end up nerfing the Kitgun Nucor, like a lot of people do expect them to do, this will become a go-to, in my opinion. And we'll have to see how the primary version is, like I said. I think the primary version potentially could be really nice as well for CO procking. Now, it's definitely not as nice as the Kitgun Nucor currently. I'll go ahead and say it. It is not a Kitgun Nucor replacement for me. But as we said, if they ever do nerf the Kitgun Nucor, this will easily take its place. And it also has all these tentacles, which look kind of funny. Let's just show the relatively low range here. So we'll put a waypoint on her. At about 25 meters, or 26 meters, we will not hit them. It's hitting that guy some, for some reason. It's very inconsistent at this range. And the reason we're running Ice Storm, it's hitting them somehow. Okay, well, you know what? I'll take it. It's about 27, 30 meters, I want to say. There we go. At about 25-ish meters, it is very inconsistent. As you can see right here up close, it's very consistent, but it is kind of wonky what it's going to end up hitting. So that's something you should definitely keep in mind when you're trying to build this thing. But you're running Ice Storm because we want to weight the viral higher. What we want to do is we want to get 10 stacks of viral as quickly as possible, and then heat is the second thing we want to proc the most, and then these other three are just extra damage. We don't really care as much about impact, puncture, and slash. They're just a bonus there, and they do dilute the procs slightly. That's why running Saxon Spill is such a bad idea. And also Ice Storm just gives you more magazine size. With Lethal Torrent and Anemic Agility, you can shoot through the magazine relatively quickly, so I'd say throw Ice Storm on here. If you want to run like Prime Slip magazine, you're gonna be less likely to proc viral, but you'll still proc plenty of viral. So it's up to you guys. I just thought Ice Storm was a good mod choice for there. And if you can run Fulmination on this, I don't know why, it just doesn't work. So, all right, we showed how fast I can proc guys right there. We'll show it in a mission too. Let's just show the Kitgun Nucor really fast with a similar setup. It's me viral and heat. You could run corrosive and heat on your secondary if you want to as well, but the way I look at it is you proc viral a lot faster with a secondary than proccing with a melee. So this is all also just completely CO focused, not damage at all. That's why we're not running Hornet Strike. But the nice thing about the Vermisplicer, I think it's called, is that multi-shot actually does affect it. And on the Kitgun Nucor, you don't need to run multi-shot at all. It will just because it's an actual beam weapon, not a tentacle gun, as I guess I'd call it. So this is just Kitgun Nucor things. It also can kill stuff really well as in addition. So I'll top into a Steel Path mission with the Vermisplice. CO Mick Nucor. I call it the Mick Nucor because it's like, wow, you really hate farming liches that much that you're actually going to get this instead of farming a Kuva lich. So here you go. Now, to be fair, it is pretty good for not having to fight a Kuva lich to get this thing. So I will give it that. It definitely gets the job done, and then some. You could definitely use this as your main Condition Overload procer in the secondary slot if you absolutely despise liches. Like that's the only reason I'd recommend this to you, is if you either think the tentacles look really cool, which I think they look pretty cool, or you just don't want to farm liches, and it's understandable. We'll see what the Corpus liches end up having. I think they'll have to make some really, really enticing weapons for the Corpus liches to make people want to farm them again, especially if they're going to take 5-4 to max out like the other Kuva lich weapons were. And guys, just trust me, that's going to happen. 5-4 on the Corpus lich weapons is going to be a thing. Expect it at this point. But I expect them to be really powerful weapons if I'm putting that much work into them. So another thing is, as well, like I said, multi-shot gives you more tentacles. I have a multi-shot Riven for this thing I just got, and I don't really think it's worth the slot currently. It's multi-shot, damage to Grenier, minus infested. I wish it was like multi-shot and like status chance or something like that, because damage to Grenier, it's not going to be killing stuff at all, is the thing. So that might be good on like the crit version of like the secondary or the primary, which I will be making. I just want to show you guys the full stats version, how that works out, and like I said, I think it's pretty good. As you can see in these hallways, I honestly don't even need Condition Overload proccing here with the viral, but yeah, I didn't really need it, to be honest, because we're like only like a couple like moments into a Steel Path survival right here. I just wanted to get some footage on the Steel Path, even though I don't find it very important anymore. We went to the Acolyte spawn, then just left, pretty much. But yeah, like I said, I think it grabs onto like 3 targets at max. And someone was telling me that the primary version grabs onto 5 targets. So if that is true, 5 targets, that is pretty good for the CO proccing potential. So We'll have to give it a shot. Oh, by the way, guys, it seems like the best way to farm Acolytes is just to jump into Survival. They spawn like every 5 to 6 minutes. And if you have a booster, it's 4 essence per drop. Of course, it can go up with a Smita buff. But, you know, I'm not going to farm Steel Essence anymore. I'm really not. The Acolytes are easy to kill, honestly. Like, you just use melee like you kill everything else in this game, and they will die. And they did damage my abilities. So my Saren Spores, my Saren Miasma, it does hurt them. Oh, by the way, I put an Umbra Forma on my Saren. I don't know if I'll regret it in the future, but the thing is, I have, like, now that Teshin is going to be selling Umbra Forma blueprints every, like, 6-8 weeks, I'm going to be more, like, just willy-nilly with these Forma, because I have 6 of them already. 6 Umbra Formas just sitting around. And, well, I guess 5 now that there's one on Saren. And, you know, we'll see how that goes. I'm thinking about putting one on Zaku, just because Zaku is so good for those vaults. I'm honestly thinking about putting one on Zaku, because I think Zaku will be meta for Corpus Lich hunting. As we talked about Corpus Liches, I think Zaku will be meta for that. So keep an eye on that when the Corpus Liches come out for a potential Umbra Zaku lawyer hunter build. I guess they're called lawyers, right? So yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. I'd say okay, I didn't even mention, do I think you should invest in this? Like I said a million times, if you don't want to farm Kuva Liches, you don't have a Kuva new car yet, you can try this out, definitely. It has a bit of a range problem. This is the max range version. And I've been hearing people say the crit version is not very good. So take that with a grain of salt. If you want to try it out, go for it, guys. And I'll talk to you in another video tomorrow. Take it easy. Peace.